for those that are not virgins, those that are already sexually active, where would they go? We, like Dr. Bright, we have we have a partner, an implementing partner, a development partner in Edo. They are the Challenge Initiative, NGOs. We have other CSOs that are collaborating with them. And in 2019, they were here to launch out the adolescent youth reproductive health services in Edo. And that was when we had the group of the CSOs and other partners collaborating with them. As part of ensuring that the adolescents and youth in Edo get the right information, they trained some health care personnel, basically the nurses, at the local government level. These people were trained to be youth-friendly. If you understand what I mean by being youth-friendly, like some of the panelists and youths have said, that you will go to some persons, the way they will react to your greeting even, you won't want to go there again. And so these persons were trained on how to accommodate whatever stupid questions that an adolescent or a youth could have. They were so trained to handle them, receive, counsel them, and manage them in terms of giving services. But this training is not all around the health institutions in Edo. So they are in certain local governments. For now, we have them up to about, they came and they took pilot study of about 6, graduated to 9, and we have up to about 12, 13. But you will ask, where are the facilities? Oredo local government, the secretariat, we have some personnel there. So if you are a youth and you go there, you will find those that were trained. Those that were trained were supposed to train others in their facilities, up to the gate man. Like Madam said, you could have a youth or an adolescent going into a facility and you have not reached where the health workers are. The gate man, the security will tell you, where are you going to? Say, I'm going to see the nurse, I have a complaint. You are supposed to be in school at this time. Will you go back? You have not accessed the place, have you? No. So, but you would have gotten some information that will do you good, and then the gate man has just deprived you of it. So, up to the gate men, the security, the cleaners, they are educated or trained to be youth friendly, and so that's one. We also have Oko Central, Oko PHC, New Benin PHC, Oredo PHC here in Sampler Road. These are facilities that you can attend to go. If you want, let us know you later. But in these facilities, the services are free. They are free. The family planning commodities for those that are sexually active are free to them. Not too long, I think last week, they are putting into law that individuals, youths, should be able to access these commodities from the patent medicine dealers. You know, even while there, some of them want to give, some are ashamed to go. But what we want is that you should have an informed decision that you have made yourself. Haven't been counseled, you know, between good and bad, and you have chosen to say, oh, I cannot abstain. Let me go to a facility to access this commodity. While you are there, you are counseled, and then you make your choice, and it's given to you, and you go your way. The only reason why in some places some youths are made to pay is because of the test kits. If you come around, no nurse will give you any commodity if she's not sure you are not pregnant. That is for the females. So they will want to find out that you are not pregnant before giving you the commodity, so that you don't come back with pregnancy and then you now conclude that it was the commodity that has failed you. So that is it for these few areas that we have talked about. Yes, I will give out the. We have in Edo, we have at the Ministry of Health level. It's unfortunate that the adolescent desk person had to travel, so she is not here. She was here earlier. I will give her out her number that you can call. Aside that, for our teachers, we also say that teachers should be friendly to our youths. Like our male panelist discussant said, that he didn't go there because the person was harsh and would not want to answer questions. We now find teachers that are trained to be youth friendly. So if they are, even as parents, you will be able to attend to them. Please just excuse me. 0814 909 3726. 0814 909 3726. Are we okay? Okay, I should go again. 081 490 93726. Cynthia. No, this is the desk officer. She'll be able to link through other NGOs. My number is 081 445 96471. Comrade Abiola Daisy Gaga is the name. 081 445 96471. Congos.
Thank you very much. I work with the state technical working group on adolescents and youth productive health. We are also open to work with young people, like youth advocates, people who will, want to say, I want to be a peer educator to my fellow young persons. I want to educate them on sexual and reproductive health. I see a lot of young persons here, so you're also welcome to join us because there's a whole lot of workforce in Edo State. We're open to working with you. Let's be the community of young people who are working towards bridging the gap and giving out information to young persons. So I don't know if I should share my number. Okay. Okay, 081 5469 5490. Okay. 081 5469 5496. So we are open to work with you. Let's work together. My name is Juliet.
Okay, I'm Sherifat. I work with Brave Heart Initiative for Youth and Women. We are rural based and rural focused in Igara, Akoko, Edo. We focus on young people reproductive health and the advancement of women's rights in Nigeria. Since underage or teenage pregnancies are like a serious issue in Edo State. So my organization is actually focused on helping reduce this issue by sensitization, advocacy, and mentorship. So my number is 070 5210. Am I too fast? Yes. 070 5210 7656. Thank you.
I am Atom Bono. I work for Sotawaka, and Sotawaka stands for Society to Heighten Awareness of Women and Children Abuse. So we stand to fight for the rights of children, of youth, and of women. I will give you my boss number because she's the one child of the hotline. 0803 834 5790. My name is Ronke Ojekere.
Hello. Well done once again. I remain Clement Eraso, and now we have, since 2003, for about 19-20 years, I've been involved with the National Reproductive Health, HIV and AIDS prevention, care and support program through the NYSC. We used to be funded, but for some time we don't have fund, but it's voluntary effort we are using to sustain it. It involves us going to NYSC camp anytime they are open. We train corpers that will now be posted and expected to work in selected secondary schools. We work with secondary schools across the state so to carry out sex education, reproductive health, prevention of STIs, including HIV. So that program is still on. I'll give my number, but depending on where you are in the state, I will always link you with the nearest core peer educator member in that area. So you might not be seeing me, but I'll give you my number. It's open 247. So the number is 080-337-00387. So anytime you call that number, you reach me. I'll be able to guide you. Thank you very much.
Organizations that I know of that have been undergoing serious rigorous trainings on psychosocial support since January, and my organization happens to be part of it. In Caritas in Abuja has been doing, in fact, every month we have to travel for 3-4 days of these trainings on different psychosocial support and all of that. And we are located in different areas. And so we have Josie Maria in Egoma, that's Josie Maria. Sotawaka is part of it, and Congos is part of it because they have 2 representatives from them that deal with people with disability. I'm part of it, Carried Out is part of it, so we're about 10. JDPC Benin is part of it, JDPC Auchi is part of it. So at any point, you can reach out to any of us, and then when we're done with giving psychosocial support and we think that you need further referral, we can push a further referral to where necessary that you can go to. Then the second quick one, still on this, getting to talk about what the things are, I'm not calling it some very funny name. Mommy from Ministry of Health just mentioned, when you come, we will get you the commodity. And I did a course in the US on drug abuse, substance rehabilitation, and that commodity just came to my mind as andro. Yes, so you see, that's it. Thank you.
Family planning.
Yes, in this hall here right now. Do you understand? So how can we assist you? Yeah, we've said it all. Our older youth, we've heard our minds. Now coming to you, who faces reality every day. What have they said that you think you need to add? How else can they assist you?
A lot of persons have said lots and lots and lots of things today, but I feel everything still boils down to collaboration. Like, if we have our parents doing their duties at home, where they are able to train their children, and parents collaborating with teachers in their respective schools at foundational levels most especially, because I no longer hear of parents teachers associations again. Those things have practically gone obsolete. They are now outdated. So if you are blaming parents, which we know that normally everything begins at home, charity begins at home, they say, if parents play their parts, religious organizations during their teachings and preachings play their parts, then the mass media, this is one area that I feel has been left to follow. If through their media content, especially through their cultural transmission function, if they are able to localize our programs in such a way that they are emphasizing intergenerational solidarity in creating a world for all ages through effective sexual health education, I feel and I think it will go a long way. Then advocacy never stops. Advocacy and more advocacy. Then we should also give our children the mindset that they should learn to open their brains and close their legs. Thank you very much.
As for me, I learned everything from my Bible teacher. That's the truth. When I was growing up, I grew up as a member of the Jehovah's Witnesses. We had this book we called Young People Ask. So while I was growing up, my Bible teacher would come to me and they would teach me everything. I had sex for the first time. I think it was 2 weeks to my final year in the university. So once I got to get into my to tell our religious leaders, let them key into some of these programs. Because through them, we can easily get these our messages to our various families and groups and
And I want the NGO, because the NGO are the ones who bridge the gap between the society and the government. I want the NGO to stand in gap for the school. For example, a school that has no guidance counselor should not be accredited. Why should be accredited? Because when our kids come back home, they learn new things. For example, they learn foul languages and new behavior. Okay, if you are a very busy parent, you are not always at home, you only see your children when you dress them up in the morning and late hours in the evening. When we don't have time to notice some behavior, when you don't spend a stretch time with them. So therefore, PTA meeting number 1 is important, and the guidance counselor office is also important in the school. And lastly, please, let's do follow-up after we have mentioned these things. Thank you.
To ask is I am not clear about some things. First is that when we discussed about the reproductive health of the youth, we were talking more of, I noticed that we focused more on unwanted pregnancies. Some might not be pregnant, but they are carrying about so many sexually transmitted infections that is silently destroying their reproductive system for the future. So my question is, why are we not focused on that area to why just unwanted pregnancy? Then secondly is that we talked about contraceptive, and from my little knowledge I have come to discover that most of the contraceptive like Postinol, Pospi and other things that they take are estrogen based, and this estrogen is responsible for the ovulation and other the female reproductive system generally. So, and also from study, I discovered that the reason why women have more of breast cancer than men is because of this same estrogen. Now, if we are not talking about contraceptive in details in a program like this, I wonder where we're going to talk about it.
They are very active. If not for those PTAs, we will be having community teachers in schools. They might not be where they are supposed to be, but they are still there. That is the best correction. My young friend wearing yellow, I don't know your name, that's why I'm describing people. You see, till as we speak, doctors will tell you that nobody can tell you the cause of cancer. You made a statement that that's why we have more breast cancer in females than in men. Men don't have breast cancer, it's females. You understand me? But it's rare. It's rare. Nobody generally mentions men for breast cancer. It's as a result of certain problems. But what I want to correct is that till now, as we speak, doctors will tell you what we have is conditions that makes cancer possible, predisposing reasons, no direct cause. So you cannot blame contraceptive for any cancer. Please, let's correct that so that we won't be having problems. Thank you very much.
The matter is this. Something may not be the cause, but it can develop cancerous cells. So when contraceptives are not prescribed, when we talk about contraceptive, you don't just engage using contraceptive without seeking the medical advice. When it is not, if it is used beyond doctor's prescription, it develops some cancerous cells. Yes, those cells, when they are not identified and managed, they are the things that lead to cancer. So it brings you back to what you are saying, when they are not managed. Everybody cannot just use contraceptive when he has not seek for doctor's advice. But most times where we have these issues are where you see everybody being their own doctor. I cannot just use any when I have not sought for my gynecologist counsel. But the end result of unmanaged contraceptive can develop cancerous cells.
have unwanted pregnancies, we have unplanned pregnancy, because there is no offspring that is not wanted if allowed to exist. Thank you.
Okay, we have one question.
Good afternoon, everybody. The question I wanted to ask has been answered, but I just feel that maybe we should give it a little attention. Now you're a single mother, you're a woman, there's no husband, you have a son, and the son tells you, "Mommy, when I do this, I feel right. When I do that," you don't know how the child is feeling. You know, but before you run it up, you give numbers that we can refer to.
Get to the point, please.
My name is Peter Morgan Citing from Caring Arts Initiative. First of all, I would like to draw the point that let's keep on appreciating and encouraging the grassroots developer, which are the NGOs, for example, like the Caring Arts, who have been working in grassroots to make sure this message gets to the people who are involved. And also, I will also encourage others that during our process of sensitization, we should try to use indigenous languages so that we can come down low to the grassroots people. Secondly, I will also encourage the government to involve the youth in the role of policy making, because most times, most of these issues that affect the youth are being neglected in the process of the policy making. So I'm encouraging the government to call the youth to be part of it, and also reward should be given to programs like this. We can organize things like the debate, quiz, NCIT on topics like this, and reward should be given so that they don't see the reward for hard work. And lastly, I also want to talk to our parents, because most times when we talk about some of these issues, they'll tell you yes, the children will still end up going to the internet and get this information. I would tell the parents that it's our time, we need to learn fast with our kids so that they will not end up knowing better than we do. So for us to be able to guide them, teach them right, we must know more than they do. Thank you.
My question is based on what you said. You said parents always give their children in appreciation. So some children, they are entitled to that. That is how they catch fun with their parents. So my question here is, apart from that, how can you equally catch attention with your children? And again, is it that as you are kissing your children, you are spoiling them? I'm not clear about it.
I think it's suggestion of how we can have a better, a more informed youth and adolescent. So I was just going to say that in Benin City here, I experienced something. There was a time I wanted to know more about contraceptive choices and all that stuff. And I was lost. I was asking my friends, where can I go to get this information? There's where can I go to know, because I can't just pick a contraceptive on my own. I have to know which one. So I'm just we should just have a functional family planning clinic. They can just walk in and everybody just know this is the place for you. And apart from that, what the government can do, you should introduce sex education in the curriculum in our secondary school. You should be part of it. You should have a teacher that's getting paid for that, or a teacher can stand in for that. Give sex education. And it's just one more. It's a technology age, and kids see things on the internet. We can have apps, hotlines that will talk on this issue. You can be on your phone, just open an app and just see okay, this is on sex education. And this thing is said about diseases, not only pregnancy that's there. You have other diseases now. You have this HPV, causing genital and human papillomavirus. And I was reading in other countries they go about and giving young girls this vaccination free, but in Belize it's here now. I know for a fact that you have to get 3 shots, and I have to pay 11,000 naira to get just 1 shot. So it's not really fair, but this is just important. You should make it free and just go about giving young girls this thing. That's how I say it.
If a baby is within 6 months to 1 year, and you play with that baby's penis, you discover that baby was immediately gets erected. That is to tell you that sexuality is inborn. So if you want to help, whatever it is, there are ways you can peck your children, throw them off, smile at them, buy them gifts. You don't have to do a mouth-to-mouth kiss to your child. I've got 3 kids by God's grace, and I don't know what it is to kiss my baby's mouth to mouth, because they will not want to learn to do it.
And the peculiarity of this topic is that it is not a one-size-fits-all. It is not a one-size-fits-all. What may be applicable to where you are may not be applicable to the next person. But the truth remains that the principles are the same, in the sense that we must learn not to give half information. It is better when you give your children information, let them know why. Let them know why. I think that's where some of these challenges are coming. Even some of us who are adults, like I ask some persons, you want to get married, why? Is it because people are getting married? Or because you have money? Or because you have come of age or whatever? You must know why. So if you let your children have that understanding, the things you don't want them to do, if somebody outside is asking them to do it, if they ask the person why, can you just give me a reason why I should do this? The person himself is going to be shocked. Are you getting it? But our appeal is, this discussion is not going to end in this hall. We have to take it out of this hall. And I want to also appeal, if we just get some volunteers, maybe a maximum of 5 persons, the right means. We'll be discussing, we'll be raising different issues. Let's have a communique that will also share. And the TWG will ensure that it gets to the appropriate quarter where it should get to, based on findings from here. And also we've requested for some contacts and thereabouts. And making it as a promise, would develop that like a directory who you can talk to. If any of you should get it, just make efforts to help us share it to the next person. I will only talk about this issue of if you see something, say something. Many of us don't do it. It doesn't really concern us. But the truth of the matter is that for the long run.
I am Mrs. Patricia Sazua, a former State Reproductive Health Coordinator, but now Acting Director of Nursing Services. The program that we have just had today is commemorating the International Youth Day 2022, which has the theme Intergenerational Solidarity, creating awareness for all ages. And so this has to do with trying to link the youth of Edo State and the youth in Nigeria as a whole with the older generation. And this involves helping to ensure that our youths are well informed about their health and being able to make informed decisions concerning themselves. We find that many of our parents that are termed the older generation do not relate in terms of giving information to the younger ones, either out of fear or out of not having the time for the children, or even trying to shy away from the actual information they need to give. And so today we have come to have some group of panelists discuss what it involves that the youth, adolescents of our state need to know. And there have been so many revelations which shows that as parents, information should start from the home, both the mother and the father, and to ensure that parents are close to their children, giving them room to be able to speak with them so that they can open up and ask questions and get the actual information they need to get, so that they don't go to other places to get the wrong information and eventually end up with different vices, and particularly for reproductive health, sexual reproductive health, ending up with wrong information and having unwanted or unplanned pregnancies that can derail their lives
for the rest of their years.
The program is International Youth Day 2022. We from the Edo State Technical Working Group for Adolescent Youth Development decided to mark this day to talk about issues on reproductive health as it concerns the older and younger generation, because we seem to have some disparity in the views and experience of the older generation and the younger ones. So this gathering was to have like a solidarity between the old and the young. Let us have information. Let us see what was working well for them those days and what is happening now, and how can we bridge the gap to actually address some of these issues. Some of the things that we're not heard of before now, and things that we experience these days. And we've tried to even ask some of the older ones, would you prefer your time or this time? We tell you they prefer their time. Even with the technology that we have, we still don't even want this generation. So it's an avenue for us to bridge this gap, address some of the issues that are coming from it.
The program is just all about celebrating the International Youth Day, and here we encourage youth to get to know more about their sexuality. And it's not enough to say I'm a youth, but how much of yourself do you know sexually? And you know that word sex is like a big deal, like a taboo. But we've come to realize that the more we talk about it, it's better for us, because to reduce some of the social, sexual vices that we are beginning to experience, where little children are being raped and some even matured adolescents don't even know their rights sexually. So here today, a lot of opportunity have been created for youth to get to know more about themselves sexually and the rights available to them as a growing child. My advice is, well, in as much as we must be free and we want to enjoy ourselves sexually, let's be careful to know that there are sexually transmitted diseases out there, and there are other ways of preventing, and even everybody will preach abstinence, but for those who feel that they cannot abstain, then there are opportunities for contraceptives and other commodities they can access to ensure that they are safe and they keep themselves protected, even if they want to be sexually active.
As a mother, I believe it's the parents. The parents is the one to initiate it first, because you are the one that had that child right from your pregnancy. In fact, it's when the child is even in your tummy that you start declaring what the child will look like, what the child will be. You understand? So by the time the child grows up, just as what they were discussing there, at the tender age, you start telling them about all these things, about sex. Tell them what it looks like. Don't allow anybody to touch you. Anybody that touches you, let me know. But by the time you hid it from that and say, all these children, they are too small for now to hear all these things, by the time they grow up and experience such activities, they will no longer say, now they will not have communication with their fellow pair. They will not have communication with their fellow pair, discussing it with their pair. Like just as the other speaker said, he said when she was in university, that was when she now knew all these things. Parents don't always like to say something about sex. It is their responsibility, it's our responsibility as a parent to start telling our children about all these things. Tell them about sex. Tell them about how, if anybody should touch you, let me know. Don't hide it from them. Just be, just be yourself, just like I said in my remark. Be yourself. That's your message for the youth. Just be yourself and communicate to people. Even if you can't even tell your parents, in fact, they said it's not only one mother. It's not only one mother that will have a child. Every mother is the children's mother. That is just that is the parable. If you cannot communicate with your parents, tell it to the other one. If you know you are closer to the other parent, just say, Mommy, look at what is going on. I don't know if I should tell my parents whether it will. Then the woman will not say, don't worry. I will ask you questions. Then by the time she asks you questions, she will now go and tell your mother. Then they now know how to solve it. Just be open up. Be open to everybody. That is mother. But we mother, we are ready to take it to the next level. Well, nobody will not spoil our children anyhow. We can't take it any longer.
So my advice to the youth is this. We know we are in a jet age. And there's a whole lot of pros and cons of everything that we do. And I advise that let's use it wisely. Yes, use our youthful age wisely. Ask questions. If you're not sure of anything, ask questions. Don't just browse the internet to ask friends who will give you wrong advice. We have NGOs that provide psychosocial support. You can reach out to any one of them. You can walk into any PHC, primary health center, where we have nurses who are trained also to provide answers to all the questions that you have. And we promise that they are all very friendly. So whatever questions that you have on the sexual reproductive health of a young person, do not take any drug without the prescription. Be very free, be comfortable to talk to anybody. When I mean anybody, I mean those who are saddled with this responsibility of providing answers to questions, like the primary health centers, the nurses and the doctors who are there, and then the NGOs who provide psychosocial support. Make sure you're free to talk to them. Please, self-help, do not do that. It causes a lot more damage than you think to your health.
Well, to the youth, let me start with the toddlers. I appeal to them to reach out to their parents for anything that concerns this reproductive health we're talking about. They should reach out to the youth, to their parents, who will be in a better position to enlighten them. And whereby the parents are not able to, they can reach out to any NGO that will be able to enlighten them. Getting the wrong information from the wrong people will only destabilize their life. That's my advice to them.
Thank you. Today's program was very, very impactful, and I had really learned a lot. As a youth, I've gotten to know that using these contraceptives to prevent unplanned pregnancies, it is very, very good as long as it's taken when it's directed by a nurse or by a person that is very learned in it. And then meeting caregivers, it is very, very fresh, especially when you meet people who really knows about it, like you can easily talk to them and you get an understanding about it.
I learned from the program like the need and the methods on how to like bridge the gap between parents and children, and how you can like maybe induct and maybe inculcate this knowledge in your children. That's what I actually learned from this program, how to do it and how the children can seek for help and what to do, and how the school bodies and the primary caregivers, how they can like primary and secondary school, that's the parents and the teachers, how they can like educate the kids on this, and how we can just have a better and enlightened youth in our youth and adolescents. It's a job well done. It's a job well done. I actually commend them for what they did here. It's actually really needed, and it was about time someone actually brought this up. Kudos to them, and I really hope they are able to follow up with this program and keep doing things like this and educating more parents and youths and